Hey everyone, welcome back to Chessbox Worldwide. Today we are dissecting a clash where the brilliant mind of FIDE master Patrick Kawuma from Uganda takes on the formidable force of Eren Ataberk Eren from Turkey during the 2025 FIDE World Rapid Team Championship. This isn't just about pawns and pieces, it's about a stunning rate opening that explodes into a tactical milestone, culminating in a jaw-dropping exchange sacrifice that will leave you absolutely speechless. So FIDE master Kawuma Patrick missed 4 rounds due to visa-related issues, but finally joined his teammates on round 5. So Team Equity Bank had FM Patrick Kawuma from Uganda, Gravich Atom from Canada, Andy Moses from Kenya, WCM Mutisa Julie from Kenya, Kaboku Nyanji from Kenya, Ongono Victor from Kenya, Kuka Kyle from Kenya. And it was captained by Captain Andy Moses. Ataberk Eren is an international master in chess from Turkey. He achieved his IM title in 2023, having previously held the FIDE master title since 2019. Eren is an active professional player and also works as a chess coach, having taught both face-to-face and online since 2018. While Patrick Kawuma is a FIDE master from Uganda, he achieved his FIDE master title in 2015. Patrick has a strong record in Ugandan chess, including winning the 2023 Uganda Open and the 2019 and 2017 Genocide Memorial Chess Tournaments in Rwanda. He has represented Uganda in various international events, including multiple chess Olympiads. Ladies and gentlemen, let the fireworks begin. And in the white pieces, Patrick Kawuma played his signature move. He played c4, the English opening. Knight f6 from Eren Ataberk Eren from Turkey. g3, now we see e5, bishop g2, bishop c5, and after knight c3, short castling, we see knight f3. And in this position, Eren went on and played d6, strengthening the bishop in the center. Patrick went on to hit in the center. He played d4, which is absolutely the best move in the position. E takes d4, knight takes d4. Now, this one gives room for the future pawn advances, which can happen after the knight has given way for the pawns to move forward. h6, stopping any bishop g5 pins. Short castling from Patrick, and after rook comes to e8, we see b3, trying to open for the bishop since it has been stopped to come and pin. He's trying to open for it to sit on b2 and take control of the other diagonal. Knight comes to d7, bishop b2, s6, stopping any knight jumps, and now queen d2, trying to connect the rooks. Knight e5, and in this position he played rook c1. Knight goes on to g6, rook comes to d1, h5, and in this position it was high time Patrick goes on to play pawn h3, but he ignored it and played knight f4, hitting on the bishop. And after bishop comes to s7, c5, Patrick wants to open up the lines and open up the center, make everything to be in black and white. h4, knight f3, hitting back on the pawn which is on h4, h takes g3, h takes g3, and in this position bishop d7 was played, attacking the knight. Patrick went and played e3, trying to remove any potential threats which could be brought in by the rook. And now we see bishop takes f4, pawn takes f4, and now bishop takes c5. In this position, Patrick went on and played knight d4. Eren went on and played rook comes to b8, defending the pawn which is sitting on b7, because now you see the bishop was attacking the pawn. Rook b8, and now Patrick went on and played knight f5, b6, queen d3, but however rook c4 should have been considered. Queen d3, knight e5 should have been considered, followed by bishop taking e5, but however Eren played f5. Queen e2 should have been considered to support the pawn g4, pawn g5 advancement, but Patrick played bishop comes into c6, hitting on the rook. Knight e5, forking the queen and the bishop, and now we see bishop takes e5, rook takes e5, and now rook comes to c4, planning to swing the rook over to create more pressure to the black king. Queen c8, hitting on the knight which is on f5 for queen e6. e4 should have been considered, but Patrick went on and played bishop f3, and in this position Eren was supposed to do a magnificent follow-up by playing pawn g5. For example, after pawn g5 we could see knight h6 check, king comes into g7, knight f5, and after king f8, knight d4, bishop takes d4, rook takes d4, and after rook c5, bishop comes into g2, rook e8, queen b1. At least this would give black a huge advantage. But let's go back. After bishop f3, Eren played rook e8, and now we see king g2. Queen takes a2 should have been considered, but Eren played g6, knight h6, king g7. Patrick played rook h1, but however, rook takes knight on f6 could be very good, followed by, in case of queen takes knight, then knight coming into g4, hitting on the f6 queen, and the rook, which is sitting on e5, should have been considered. Patrick played rook h1, and now we see rook h8 comes into h4, king f8 was played, and Patrick went on and played knight takes f7, sacrificing the knight. Black went on and first of all played rook takes h4, but however, king takes f7 should have been considered. For example, after king takes f7, we could see rook takes h8, king g7. Remember, the h7 square is being protected by the knight, supported by the king also. Queen s6, d5, queen comes into c8, and after bishop d6, defending the pawn, queen takes e6, rook takes e6, rook a8, and after g5, rook d1. At least this would give black a playable game. But however, after knight takes f7, Eren played rook takes h4, and in this position Patrick played knight takes e5, 1, knight g6 check. King e8 should have been considered, but however, Eren played king g7. Eren played king g7, and now Patrick went on and played knight f4 should have been considered, but however, Patrick went on and played king takes h1. Bishop e3 should have been considered. After king takes h1, after king takes h1, bishop takes pawn on e3 should have been considered. Bishop takes e3. In case of f takes e3, see queen h3 check, and after king g1, queen takes g3 check, bishop g2 defending the check, knight g4. You see the queen is looking at knight which on g6, the potential checking and mating sequences. King takes h1. Eren for him went on and played queen takes a2, and now we see knight f4, queen goes back to f7, queen f5, king f8, and now bishop goes to c6, trying to cut off the king not to go any further. Queen h7, exchanging the queens, queen takes, knight e6 check, and after king goes to e7, knight takes the c7 pawn, knight g5, king g2, d5, setting a bait, and Patrick went on to play knight takes d5, king d6, bishop goes to a8, and after knight comes to e6, knight c3, opening back for the bishop to go back to f3, bishop b4, attacking the knight, knight e4 check, king e7, bishop goes to c6, knight c7, king f1, king e6, king goes to e2, bring the king to secure the potential threats. Knight a6, we see f4, and after bishop goes to e7, bishop goes to b5, knight goes to c7, bishop c4 check, and after king goes to d7, g4, king c6, g5, king d3, and in this position b5 should have been considered. So we see king d7, f5, bishop d6, takes bishop, king takes bishop, king goes to d4. Remember, in endgame, never exchange your pieces. Knight goes to e8, e4, knight g7, bishop goes on to b5, knight h5, e5 check, and after king goes to e7, g6, knight f4, and we see bishop goes to c4, trying to secure the queening square for the pawns. King f8, we see king e4, knight h5, f6, knight g3 check, king d5, knight h5, king d5, and after king d5, in this position, I am already designing the game, because you can see that now the bishop has secured the queening square, pawn push, and now this reaches out and becomes a queen. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck in your game.